Some days begin just like any other. A quiet morning with the promise of a day's hard work ahead. Out here in Utah, the sun rises over the construction site, casting long shadows. The air is cool, filled with the distant hum of machinery starting up, the clank of metal on metal, and the easy laughter of coworkers sharing a joke over a cup of coffee. John, a guy just like any of us, is right there in the middle of it all. His smile as wide as the open sky. It's a scene of routine, of camaraderie. You see it and think, it's just another Tuesday. But sometimes, the most ordinary moments are just the calm before an unexpected storm. A single second is all it takes to shatter the familiar and change a life forever. For John, that single second arrived without warning. In the blink of an eye, the familiar sounds of the site were drowned out by chaos. A piece of heavy equipment malfunctioned, and in a horrifying twist of fate, John was caught. His leg was crushed, the pain immense and immediate. His coworkers rushed to his side, their faces a mix of shock and fear. The world, once so predictable, had spun into a terrifying blur of shouting, sirens, and desperation. As the paramedics worked frantically, one thought echoed in John's mind. How could this happen? One minute he was planning his weekend. The next, he was facing a future he never could have imagined. It's a stark reminder that life can pivot on a dime, and that safety on the job is not just a rule, it's a lifeline. The accident left John with a devastating injury. The doctors did everything they could, but the damage was too severe. His leg had to be amputated. Waking up in the hospital, a wave of reality hit him harder than the accident itself. The life he knew, the job he loved, the simple act of walking it, was all gone or forever changed. The initial shock gave way to a deep, dark despair. It felt broken, not just physically, but mentally. The road ahead seemed impossibly long and shrouded in darkness. How do you come back from something like this? How do you find the strength to even try when a part of you is literally missing? For anyone facing such a profound loss, the mental and emotional battle can be just as challenging as the physical recovery. But John's story doesn't end in that hospital bed. It's where his new beginning took root. He made a choice. He could let this tragedy define him, or he could redefine himself. With the unwavering support of his family and a team of incredible therapists, he began the grueling process of rehabilitation. Learning to use a prosthetic leg was like learning to walk all over again. There were days of frustration, of pain, of wanting to give up. Yet, for every stumble, there was a small victory. Tying his own shoes, taking his first unassisted steps, each milestone, no matter how small, fueled his determination. He discovered a resilience he never knew he had. His spirit, once crushed, was slowly being rebuilt, stronger and more fortified than before. It wasn't just about walking again. It was about reclaiming his life, one determined step at a time. Today, John is more than just a survivor. He's an inspiration. He's back on his feet, not just walking, but running. He participates in adaptive sports, advocates for workplace safety, and shares his story to give hope to others who have faced life-altering injuries. He turned his personal tragedy into a powerful purpose. His journey teaches us that even when we face the darkest moments, the human spirit has an incredible capacity to heal, to adapt, and to soar. It's a powerful testament to the importance of perseverance, community, and the choice to keep moving forward. John's story reminds us all that our greatest strength is often found in our deepest struggles. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by John's journey, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of incredible resilience. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be completely cut off from the world? I'm not talking about a digital detox or a weekend camping trip. I mean truly, utterly alone, swallowed by the earth itself. Today, we're diving into a story that starts with a single, terrifying moment that changes everything for one man. John. John was just going about his day, another ordinary Tuesday. He was an urban explorer, someone who loved uncovering the forgotten corners of our cities. His latest fascination was an old, abandoned industrial complex on the outskirts of town, a place whispered to have a history as deep and dark as the tunnels rumored to run beneath it. He'd been exploring the site for weeks, mapping out the decaying structures, feeling the thrill of discovery with every step. But on this particular afternoon, he ventured further than ever before, into a part of the complex that even the most daring explorers tended to avoid. The air in this section was different heavy, still carrying the scent of damp earth and something else he couldn't quite place. He was in a vast, cavernous warehouse. Sunlight struggled to pierce through grimy, broken skylights high above, casting long, distorted shadows that danced like ghosts. His footsteps echoed, the only sound in the colossal silence. He noticed strange markings on the floor, patterns that didn't seem to belong in a factory. They looked almost ancient. Intrigued, he knelt down to get a closer look, his fingers tracing the strange, geometric lines etched into the concrete. That's when he felt it. A low, deep rumble started beneath his feet. At first, he dismissed it as a passing truck on the nearby highway. But the vibration grew stronger, more intense. It wasn't just a tremor. The very ground was groaning, protesting under some immense, unseen pressure. A web of fine cracks spiderwebbed across the floor around him, racing outward from the spot where he knelt. He barely had time to stand up, his heart pounding in his chest, before the rumble escalated into a deafening roar. Then, a sudden, violent crack, like a bolt of lightning striking right beside him. The ground didn't just shake, it buckled. Dust and debris exploded into the air, instantly blinding him. The concrete floor he was standing on just moments before simply vanished. He felt a nauseating sensation of weightlessness as he plunged into darkness. It was a free fall, but not a long one. It landed hard, the impact knocking the wind out of him. Disoriented and gasping for air, he looked up. Through the swirling dust, he saw the hole he'd fallen through, a jagged maw of broken concrete and twisted rebar. But before he could even process what had happened, he heard another groaning, grinding sound from above. The remaining edges of the opening crumbled inward. Huge slabs of concrete and a torrent of earth and debris crashed down, sealing the hole completely. In seconds, the last sliver of daylight was extinguished. The earth closed above him. Silence. A profound, absolute silence, broken only by the frantic beat of his own heart and the gentle patter of dust settling in the pitch-black void. He was trapped, buried alive. His ordinary day had just turned into a waking nightmare, and the real challenge for survival had only just begun. What lay hidden in the darkness with him, and would he ever see the sun again? Stick with us as we follow John's harrowing journey into the unknown. If you're captivated by this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching. Have you ever wondered what it's like to face the ultimate test of survival? What happens when every odd is stacked against you, and hope is just a flicker in the dark? Today, we're diving deep into a story that pushes the very limits of human endurance. This isn't just about surviving. It's about the unyielding power of the human spirit when faced with the impossible. Imagine this, a perfect day on the slopes. The sun is shining, the snow is crisp. John, an experienced skier, is carving through fresh powder, feeling the rush of adrenaline. He's on top of the world. But in the mountains, things can change in an instant. A distant rumble, a tremor beneath his skis, and suddenly, the world turns white. An avalanche, a roaring monster of snow and ice, powerful enough to snap trees like twigs, consumes everything in its path. John is swept away, tossed and turned in a violent, frozen wave. Then, silence. Total darkness. He's trapped, buried alive. His world has shrunk to a coffin of ice. He's upside down, the weight of the snow pressing down, making every breath a struggle. Oxygen grows thin. In this suffocating blackness, hours feel like days. There is no light, no water, no escape. There is only the sound of his own breath, each one a countdown in the crushing silence. The cold seeps into his bones, a relentless enemy stealing his warmth, his energy, his will to live. This is the moment where most would give up, trapped, alone, with the mountain as your tomb. But this is where John's story truly begins. It's a battle fought not just against the snow, but against the despair threatening to consume him. In that darkness, a primal instinct takes over, the will to live. He begins to fight. Every movement is a monumental effort, burning precious oxygen, but he has to try. He needs to figure out which way is up. He remembers a trick. Spit. He lets a little saliva fall from his lips. and gravity shows him the way down, meaning the opposite direction is his only hope. He starts digging. His hands, already numb, claw at the compacted snow. It's like digging through concrete. For every inch he gains, more snow seems to fall back in. It's a grueling, seemingly futile task. Doubt screams in his mind. It's hopeless. You're too weak. Just let go. But then he thinks of his family. The thought of their faces, their voices, becomes a fire in his chest, a force more powerful than the cold. That love, that connection, becomes his fuel. He digs with a renewed ferocity, pushing past the pain, past the exhaustion. He's not just digging for air. He's digging for them. After what feels like an eternity, something changes. A tiny pinprick of light. It's so faint, he thinks he's imagining it, but it's real. It's the sky. That tiny glimmer of hope unleashes a surge of adrenaline he didn't know he had left. He pushes and scrapes with everything he has, his fingers raw and bleeding, until he breaks through the surface, gasping for air, blinded by the sun. He made it. He survived. John's story is an incredible testament to human resilience. It shows us that even in our darkest moments, when we feel buried and alone, there is a strength within us that can move mountains. It's a reminder that hope is not just a feeling. It's an action. It's the choice to fight, to dig, to believe in one more breath. What do you think you would do in this situation? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories of survival and the human spirit. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that will have you on the edge of your seat. It's a powerful testament to the human spirit, the will to survive, and the heroes who refuse to give up. Imagine being trapped, buried beneath tons of rubble, with no way out. The world you knew is gone, replaced by darkness, dust, and a deafening silence. For one family, this nightmare became a terrifying reality. It all started on a Tuesday morning, just like any other. The sun was shining, kids were getting ready for school, and John was brewing his first cup of coffee. His wife, Sarah, was helping their two young children, Emily and David, pack their backpacks. In an instant, their ordinary world was violently shaken, and everything collapsed. They were plunged into darkness, trapped under the ruins of their own home. Panic set in. John called out, his voice hoarse with dust. He could hear Sarah and the kids, their voices faint but alive. That single sound, the confirmation that they were still together, ignited a flicker of hope in the suffocating darkness. John knew he had to be their rock. He had to keep them calm, keep them focused, and most importantly, keep them alive. He told them stories, sang them songs, and made promises of the ice cream they would all get once they were out. Every cough, every shift in the debris above them, sent a fresh wave of fear through their tiny, cramped space. They huddled together, sharing warmth and whispers of encouragement, their survival depending entirely on one another and the hope that someone, somewhere, was looking for them. Above ground, chaos reigned. The entire neighborhood was a disaster zone. First responders were overwhelmed, navigating a landscape of destruction. But word of the trapped family spread like wildfire, a single point of focus in the widespread devastation. Rescue teams, a mix of firefighters, volunteers, and specialized urban search and rescue units, converged on the site of what was once John and Sarah's home. They brought heavy machinery, sensitive listening devices, and specially trained search dogs. The mission was clear. Get them out. The lead rescuer, a veteran named Captain Miller, looked at the mountain of twisted metal and concrete and knew this would be one of the toughest operations of his career. The clock had started ticking the moment the building fell. The rescue was a race against time. Every second counted. Teams worked in grueling shifts, digging frantically with shovels in their bare hands. The heavy machinery was too risky. One wrong move could cause a secondary collapse, crushing any chance of survival for the family below. Sweat poured down the rescuers' faces, mixing with grime and dust. You could feel the tension and the era-heavy blend of fear, determination, and a desperate clinking open. On the sidelines, neighbors and strangers gathered, their faces etched with worry. John's brother, Mark, kept a vigil, his eyes fixed on the rescue effort, his lips moving in a constant, silent prayer. The hours bled into one another. 10 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. Hope began to wane. 76 hours. More than 3 full days had passed. The chances of finding survivors were dropping with every passing minute. Some began to lose hope, whispering that it was becoming a recovery mission, not a rescue. But Captain Miller and his team refused to give up. They were exhausted, their bodies aching, but their resolve was iron. They used seismic sensors, listening for any sign of life. And then they heard it. A faint tapping, a rhythmic, deliberate sound. Someone was alive. Renewed energy surged through the team. They redoubled their efforts, digging with a newfound urgency. Finally, after hours of careful excavation, they broke through, creating a small opening. A weak voice called out from the darkness. It was Jean. The crowd erupted in cheers and tears. Against all odds, the family had survived. They were pulled from the rubble one by one, weak and dehydrated, but alive. It was a miracle born from sheer grit, unwavering hope, and the incredible courage of those who risk everything to save others. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories. Have you ever heard of the Nutty Putty Cave incident? It's a story that's both terrifying and profoundly moving. A tale of human courage in the face of the Earth's unforgiving power. This isn't just another caving story. It's the true account of John Edward Jones, a man who became trapped in one of the most infamous caves in America. John was a 26-year-old medical student, a husband, and a father. On Thanksgiving Eve in 2009, he and his family decided to explore the Nutty Putty Cave in Utah, a place he'd loved exploring as a kid. It was supposed to be a fun, nostalgic trip, but in the tight, winding passages of the cave, things went horribly wrong. John decided to find a famously tight passage known as the Birth Canal. He went in headfirst, wriggling his way deeper and deeper into the narrow darkness. But he took a wrong turn. He ended up in an unmapped, impossibly tight dead-end crevice, barely 10 inches wide and 18 inches high. He tried to back out, but with no room to move, every breath he took wedged him in tighter. He was stuck, upside down, 150 feet below the surface. The alarm was raised, and one of the most complex and heart-wrenching rescue operations in history began. Over 100 rescuers worked tirelessly, battling the cave's claustrophobic conditions. They were talking to John, keeping his spirits up, telling him about his family waiting for him above. He was calm, brave, and never lost hope. The plan was ingenious but risky. Attach a series of ropes and pulleys to his feet to try and pull him out. Rescuers managed to get a rope around him, and they started to pull. For a moment, there was a glimmer of hope. He was moving. They managed to lift him a few feet, enough for him to get a drink of water and talk to his wife over a police radio. It was an emotional, hopeful moment. But then, disaster struck. The main anchor point of the pulley system, a rock in the cave wall, suddenly broke under the immense strain. The rope went slack, and John slid back down into the crevice, even deeper and more tightly wedged than before. The fall was devastating, not just for John's body, but for the morale of everyone involved. The rescuers were exhausted. The cave was unstable, and John's condition was deteriorating rapidly due to being upside down for so long. His breathing became shallow, and he started to lose consciousness. After 27 grueling hours, the rescue team had to make an impossible decision. There was no way to get him out. The lead rescuer had to break the news to John's family. Some stories end in silence, but are never forgotten. John passed away in the cave. It was determined that retrieving his body would be too dangerous for any other rescuer. So, with his family's blessing, authorities made the difficult decision to seal the Nutty Putty Cave forever, with John's body inside. It became his final resting place, a permanent memorial to a man whose love for adventure led him to an unimaginable fate. John Jones's story is a powerful reminder of the fragility of life and the incredible bravery of the human spirit, both his and those who tried to save him. It's a story that stays with you long after you hear it. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as moving as I did, please consider subscribing for more.